Welcome to the first episode of the inaugural episode of Jed Talks. I'm your host, Jed. And who else would you expect, right? Not somebody Frank or Mark on a show called Jed Talks, a lovely play off of TED Talks. A real shocker there, but hey, I kind of enjoy it. I like it. And this is Studio 75. That is what we are calling this little room here in my campaign office. I am the state rep of the 75th district here in the center of the universe, lovely Yorkville, Illinois. So not too far outside of Chicago. And man, I'm looking around at all the gear. Did this thing take a life of its own? When I first started to explore the whole idea of a podcast, I was thinking really of a lapel mic and my iPhone. And then we started saying, wouldn't it be awesome to do guests, like interviewing fellow elected officials and constituents and people from all walks of life? And the moment you start introducing other people, it really complicates things. And before you know it, we've got mics, which you see on the left and the right of me. I've got a board with some incredible, beautiful colors. And not only that, but oh man, we've got sound effects. I'm like living my life as my dream to be a radio DJ, which was never really a dream of mine. But if it was, I am living it. So this thing really took a life of its own, but it's all come together really nice. I'm excited to see how the final product turns out and how we evolve really over the course of time here. So why in the world would anyone want to listen? Why are we doing this? There is so much that happens in Springfield that it is impossible to capture it in a social media post or even a 90-second reel. The content is just too deep and too broad of the policies and practices that happen under that dome, which a lot of it is eye-opening, right? The one thing we are not in Springfield is transparent. Transparent to me is should be 101 for any elected official. In Springfield, it's essentially a four-letter word. We do an incredible job, and I'm talking about we collectively as the General Assembly do an incredible job of not truly communicating back to our voters of what we are actually doing and how we're actually hurting their lives from an economic standpoint, a privacy standpoint, and just a family value standpoint. And I don't believe it's representative of the electorate. So we did these videos at the end of session, just kind of raw, in the moment emotion of what is happening to pass your Illinois state budget, which we'll get into at some future episode because that whole process is a sham completely. So we'll get into that. But those videos were wild, like really good feedback. I was going to say widely received. I couldn't get the word widely out of my mouth, but man, did we get some good feedback from those videos. People loved them, and it kind of opened my eyes that we need a longer format. We need more than the little post on X or the 90-second reel on Facebook. We need something, not hours, we're not going to sit here for hours and drone on, but something that we can really just dig a little deeper. I'm not Joe Rogan, so those couple hours, those are fantastic. I love them. That won't be us, but we are going to give you a lot more meat, and this whole setup, this venue allows that, and I am so excited for that because, again, if you really knew, I've been saying this ever since I've been in office, if people actually knew, it was so eye-opening to me once I got in, if people actually knew how we governed, I don't care if you're blue or red or you're not affiliated with the party at all, you would be appalled of what actually happens in Springfield. And it is 100% beneath the electorate. So this will allow us to get into some really good conversations. Not only that, I am looking forward to having healthy discussions with people on the other side of the aisle. I've got great relationships with colleagues that I'll hopefully invite, and they'll accept the invitation, and we'll talk about policy that we can agree on, which, man, do you guys miss out. The state of Illinois misses out because everything coming out from under the dome there is so lopsided by the majority party. There's no cross-pollination across the aisle. And you know who loses in that conversation? You do. The voter loses. Because if we would work together, man, would the policies coming out be incredible, because now you've got true compromise. Look at some of the founding documents in our nation. They came out of a heart. You almost hate the word compromise, right? Because you don't want to compromise on your values, and neither side will. But if you can work together on a solution, oh man, can the people win, because it happens in rare moments in Springfield, and I love them. They are energizing to me. The other 99% of the time is a one-way train driven by one conductor, the majority party, and it is a runaway train. And it is going off a fiscal cliff and all kinds of other cliffs that we'll get into. But I'm looking forward to those discussions, and I want to show the people that we can do that. We can actually sit down and have these discussions with people on the other side of the aisle and come to agreement on an issue that, again, is going to benefit you. So let's just do that in front of the public, because we're not doing it very well down in the halls of the Capitol. So hopefully in Studio 75, that is the goal. And I'm really looking forward to those conversations. I think they'll be a lot of fun. And definitely we'll get into politics. I'm going to get into my run, my potential run for the 14th, and why I ultimately decided not to, the 14th congressional seat currently held by Lauren Underwood, and why I decided to kind of just press pause on that for this election cycle and really feel that the work isn't done yet at the State House. It's all up to the people. God bless America and the system that the founding fathers implemented, and your right as a voter to put representatives and senators in seats to be your voice. If the people will have me, I would love to be the rep again of the 75th here in the state of Illinois. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about just daily life as a state rep. What does it look like? What do we do on a daily basis? What does our staff do? You know, we have amazing staff here in the district office. And what do they do? Maybe we'll have them sit here and just walk through a day in the life of a staff member, of a elected official, and even all the staff down in Springfield. What do they do? Like, this whole thing is so eye-opening once you get in. And I just want to start peeling the layers back and give you a real intimate view into what is happening in politics in Illinois. And I feel that as an elected official, as a sitting state rep, I kind of have a front row seat. So I want to bring you from your living room, your car, wherever you may be. We want to bring you right alongside us, so you too have that front row seat into what is happening in Illinois, because again, it is really eye-opening. And yes, I am wearing a Sox hat. We might as well get that out in the open. So I've already instantly alienated half of even though it's probably more like 60%. I feel there is way more Cubs fans than Sox fans, but I'm alienating. This is just my childhood legacy, right? We are loyal Sox fans just kind of through the upbringing. So no harm, no foul. Cubbies are winning. I am all in on that because they are a Chicago-based team. But sports aside, man, my son loves sports. He saw this setup and was like, I want to do sports podcasts. I was like, no, this is campaign stuff. You can't touch it. But it is a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to the conversations. In closing, I just thought I'd point a nuance. We'll keep this opening salvo, this opening episode, relatively short, but I just think this is so classic Illinois and a great example that's hard to unpack in a social media post. A constituent emailed me and called me really frustrated with the state of Illinois because of some taxes that just got implemented. Not this current budget, but in the 2023, the 103rd General Assembly, we passed a bill, a revenue bill, to impose like $1 billion worth of new taxes on you and me. So welcome to the state of Illinois. One of them is taxes on anything leased, any real personable property that you lease. You now have to pay a monthly tax. So if you're a small business owner and you have a copier, you know, a lot of people lease copiers because they don't want to maintain them, and you can just kind of 1-800 come fix my copier, whatever the number is. It's a lot easier to lease stuff like that. HVAC, emerging technology that might be really expensive. Sometimes a lease is a more economic viable option. I used to not have to pay a monthly tax. Now, Illinois wants your money. Open up your wallet. The one thing I think they forgot, we love green energy in this state. We love to push it even ahead of technology, which maybe that's a topic for another episode too, of why is your energy rates, why are your electric bills going up? It's because of the silly policies we're passing in Springfield and really trying to shovel out, no pun intended, great resources such as coal and nuclear and other things and cram through technology that isn't quite ready for the main light, the main stage yet. But a lot of you, and I think it's incredible, my neighbor has it, and I've looked into it, and I've come real close to pulling the trigger on it, is putting solar panels on your home. Why not, right? The more independence that we can have and even the more readiness that we can have as homeowners, I'm all about. But now, because of the expense to that stuff, a lot of it is leased. Guess what? If it's leased personal property, your solar panel, you now have to pay a tax, a monthly tax that you never anticipated to pay. And if you knew it was coming, maybe you would have bought the system outright and not signed up for the lease. So this constituent is irate. Why can you tell me, General Assembly, that you are a proponent of green energy? You're encouraging people through tax credits and other things to invest and do it. I did it. I got them on my roof. And now if I had known you were going to tax me for it, I would have selected a different option when I was initially evaluating it. And I don't know if the majority party did this intentionally. I almost think they weren't thinking. Things are so fluid and they move so fast. 5,400 pages, 5,377 was the latest budget package in Springfield. And we had about 18 hours to review it. There's $500,000 in there that we're giving to a college that's been closed since 2022. So this is the stuff that you're just moving so quickly because they don't want questions asked, because when you ask a question, you have to give an answer, and the answers you're not going to like. So let's just ram it through so that there's not time to adequately vet, but you start making errors and mistakes. Our governor is bragging about record revenues in Illinois. We're not a business. Right, you're not a shareholder in the state of Illinois, where you would love it if we had record revenues because our stock prices are rising. You're getting greater returns on your investment. This is your money. Our record revenues is because we're taxing you to death here in Illinois, with a lot of the highest taxes on multiple categories across the entire nation, from gas to phones to real estate, your property, and all of these things. We're so proud. Our governor is so proud. We've got record revenues. Isn't that great? No, that is horrible. Right? Who wants to be the number one tax state or bragging that we are bringing in more money than we ever have before? Because it is your money, and you should be just really upset by that, because we're mismanaging how it's spent. We're allocating $500,000 to colleges that have been closed for 3 or more years. What insanity here in Illinois. We took $43 million, not a lot, but at least there was some property tax relief in the budget. We took it out. $43 million. Now, we don't want property tax relief for anyone. These were grants that people could apply for. We removed it from the budget, but the speaker put in a $40 million sports complex for the high school that he graduated from in his district. Usually your school has to go to referendum and ask the voters to raise money. Now, not in Illinois. This one school is getting $43 million. $40 million. We took out $43 million of property tax relief and then backfilled it with the $40 million sports complex for one school district. So taxes from all over the state of Illinois are going to one high school. How does that make you feel? To know that that is happening. So back to my constituent, what the heck? He's like, what the heck? You're taxing me now on technology that you were encouraging me to get, and I never knew it was coming. Maybe I wouldn't have done this. And I think that is a very legitimate question. And it's just the irony in all of this is that we are pushing policies that, again, I don't believe are ready for the main stage, but we're pushing these policies, encouraging people to put solar panels on their roof, which, hey, if you do that, great. Like I said, I've almost done it myself, but then you do it, it's a bait and switch. And by the way, you now have to pay us a monthly tax. Thank you, taxpayer of Illinois. And I'm going to file a bill this upcoming session to exempt. Let's exempt these people. Like, we shouldn't be penalizing people that are trying to do good to the environment and be a team player here and lower their own energy costs. Let's not penalize them by increasing their tax burden. So I'm going to file a bill. We'll see where it goes, to exempt those solar panels from the ridiculous thing that says we are now taxing everything leased in the state of Illinois. Ah, man, what a messed up system we have. But hey, I could go on and on about that, and we will. We are going to spend some time on how we spend your money in this state, the record-breaking revenues. Where is it going? Where is it? How are we getting it from you? And then once we have it in our state coffers, how do we spend it out? And that episode alone will probably give you a lot of a heartburn, because it gives me heartburn every day I sit in my seat on the floor of the house and to see us do really ridiculous things like that. So, anything in closing that I can think of? Man, it sure would be nice if our president would stop calling me a Democrat operative because I want some answers on the Epstein stuff. That would be a welcomed relief. Like, I don't know what in the world is going on there. That just really baffles me. I see a little bit of a change, a heart in him in the last 24 to 36 hours here. So I just want answers. I think the American people just want answers. And it's not so much that we care about Jeffrey Epstein. We care about the victims, right? We're talking about kids that have suffered horrific things. And if all of that is true and legit, after all, the man was convicted on it. So it has to be true and legit, or why did he get a conviction? We need justice. We need justice for these victims. So let's stop pretending like this never happened. My dog Rusty's my guard dog. If you try to break in here, that little 28-pound of muscle golden doodle might nibble at your ankles if you just heard him bark. But I think the mailman might be here. But hey, God bless. Have an incredible week, and we will be in touch. Stay tuned. Lots to come in the weeks ahead. Thank you so much.